the best rugby training split, if you want to gain size and strength and power, well then, I think it's full body sessions, 3 days a week, and that's all you need. All right, it does come with its downfalls, but definitely if you're a rugby player, which means you're probably natural, okay, you're not taking anabolics, it means that you're going to get 3 times a week, you're going to get stimulus to the muscles, okay, and that is a really important point. And it's an important point because if you're natural, after about 2 days, you're actually starting to lose again. Okay, it might not be much, but you're starting to lose. So if you want to maximize that progressive overload, you want to keep that stimulus growing, essentially. So if you can get stimulus to a muscle 3 times a week, that's going to be much more beneficial than 2 or even 1. And that is why I always say, if you're doing a split like a chest, like a push, pull, legs, hammies, and you only get like 1 stimulus a week, then your growth is going to be nowhere near what it could possibly be, because by the time you get back to that next session, so say you were doing your chest session, bench press, by the time you got back to that next session, you would actually be starting to lose. So if you see someone programming that, then I would be like, oh, okay, I'm natural. That's not going to work as well as I'd like. Now, it does come with its downfalls, okay? So what you really need to do, if you are doing 3 days a week, you actually need to know what your, say if you're doing 5 reps, you need to know what your 5RM is, okay? Because you don't want to be spending a heap of time in the gym. And you also don't want to be doing so much that you're having so much fatigue that by the time you get to the last exercises, you've got nothing in you. Because that's what's going to happen. So if you can do 1 to 2 sets of 5 reps of, say, your whatever lift you want to get up, that way you're not going to have too much fatigue, you can get the growth, you can keep getting stronger, and that's going to be ultimately one of the best ways to grow. But it is difficult to do that because a lot of people don't know really where they're at, and it takes time to actually understand yourself. So that's one of the pitfalls. One of the pitfalls is you have to warm up all your body. So you sort of warm up and then you got to do another warm up set. But I don't find that to be too bad. What it's really good for is that you have this extra time during the week. You have an extra hour to work on your skills. You have an extra hour then to work on your speed work. Okay, it means you could probably do 2 speed, 3 speed sessions if they were small a week and get even more speed gains and power gains. Okay, you can still maximally grow in strength and in size, and probably not. You'll probably grow more if anything. You're actually going to get a lot out of it because we need our nervous system to be firing. If you have a lot of fatigue, what's going to happen is that you're not going to recruit the high threshold motor units or the bigger muscle fibers you need to recruit to be able to lift heavy, and that's what's actually going to put you down. Okay. So what you could do is you could do some like speed squats first. You might do 1 set or 2 sets of speed squats or something fast, and then you might go to your strength and you might do like 1 set or 2 sets or 5 of your strength work. Okay, and that's what I do often is like we might have squats, but we might do different sets, and they might be different. Like you might be doing it differently, and that way you get the best of all the worlds. Okay, and it's not to say that you should be trying to do too many things at once, but you really can if you just understand your own nervous system and understand that you don't need to do a crazy amount of sets to actually grow muscle. Okay, like I said before, you're probably better off as a natural athlete getting more stimulus throughout the week rather than having like 1 or 2 big days where you're just causing a lot of muscle damage and a lot of fatigue. Okay. So we use both those programming styles because both work. The 2 upper bodies, 2 lower bodies is much easier, and I like to put speed sessions with it. It's much easier to program. Obviously, you have a whole extra hour probably in the gym. It means that you can usually get more done, but that doesn't necessarily mean more growth if you're after growth, okay, and strength gains. It doesn't always mean that. Sometimes if you're very advanced, you probably need less. Okay, because you're really then going to be tapping into the nervous system. Right? You're going to be tapping into those high threshold motor units, which you need to not be fatigued for. Okay, if you're an absolute beginner, you'll grow from anything. You can do absolutely any program you want and you'll grow to a certain extent. If you want to maximize that growth though, there's obviously I think a full body would actually go so much better. So much better. And yeah, getting those sets and reps right will go a long way as well. And then setting the weights. So if you're doing 1 to 2 sets, you can probably go right near failure, if not failure, right? You're going to be right on that borderline. Okay, and that's going to help you with your strength gains and the growth. All right? So that's why there's actually a lot of research behind all the fatigue mechanisms. You can go and look at fatigue mechanisms, and it's very interesting stuff. I'm trying to help you out with your programming. We have our programming, obviously. If you're interested in our programming, our brand new app's about to release, and we're actually going to have a really cheap package, which will be without my help. And so I'm really excited to release that to the world. So be on the lookout for that.